Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And so today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Buffies in the game, all 18 of them. I'm going to be putting them into a tier list. So it's like okay to talk about each individual like brawler, how strong they are, but in reality you probably need to know what Buffies are good, what gadget Buffies, star power, hypercharge Buffy is worthwhile getting. Some people do invest in the Brawl Pass and get Buffy keys as well, so it's just good to know what's good and what to play and whatever else. So yeah, let's put them into a tier list. Starting off in the D tier, starting off with Rico's gadget Buffies. So Rico's gadget Buffies are just a little underwhelming to me. I think his gadget reworks in general are really underwhelming, but then the Buffies itself, I mean, they're okay. You might think, okay, well, with Rico's multiple launcher, you can load up the gadget effectively, and if someone's on top of it, it's going to deal a lot of damage. But that situation it's not happening at all. Now, I've probably played at least 20 games with Rico right now. You're not going to deal a lot of damage with this gadget regardless. So yeah, it's an okay gadget, but it's not anything crazy. Definitely a downgrade from the last one. In terms of skill expression, it's an upgrade, but it isn't the same in terms of strength. And then Bouncy Castle, the Buffy, all it does is it adds a slow. Yes, the slow is actually not half bad, but it's still just a bad gadget, and it's just a slow effect. Like, there's so many other more powerful slow effects. So yeah, Rico's kind of been done dirty with some of the Buffies. And lastly, in the D tier, we have Rico's star power Buffy as well. So yeah, Rico hasn't had the best of Buffies, and the star power Buffies definitely aren't an exception, because with the star power Buffies with super bouncy, yes, you do get a 10% increase in your super charge rate per hit, which feels okay. It's not anything like crazy, to be honest. It's still, with your super Rico, you've got to line up the angle correctly, etc. So the additional, I don't know, it might take like 1 or 2 less bullets to gain your super in the long run. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to find the value out of it. And then with Robo Retreat, again, it's not like it's a bad Buffy. It's actually a pretty good Buffy. It's more so the fact that it's so hard to actually get within that threshold and find the value. And when you are within that threshold, yeah, it can be good. But Rico's star power buff is only really good like into tanks, maybe like to a few other situations as well. Good against his harder matchups as well. But I still just think his throwers and snipers are still going to just find an easy kill onto him, because he can't just heal up when necessary. So that kind of Robo Retreat and the old healing gadgets synergy has kind of just been messed up as well. So yeah, a lot of these gadget Buffies and star power Buffies are just a bit meh. Now moving on to the C tier, so moving on to Rico's hypercharge Buffies. So most hypercharge Buffies, I wouldn't put you off in investing in them or being discouraged when you get one, because at least you get a 2-second increase in the hypercharge duration, and it's good with a brawler that can chain and has potential like that. So with Rico, it is good for that reason. Again, not saying it's completely useless. And also with his main attack, it isn't the worst thing in the world. Like, it's okay. It allows him to land a few more shots, build up his hypercharge super again, but it's not exactly anything crazy like the other Buffies. Lastly, in the C tier, we have Meg's star power Buffies. So again, these aren't terrible, but they're not big game changing Buffies, because with Meg's star power, I think heavy metal just reworking it. I mean, I don't really like the change too much, but then the knockback has kind of been incorporated in a kit elsewhere. But anyways, I do actually like just the health recovery that the star power reworked too. But the Buffy stealing 1 ammo, yeah, I guess it's good. It is good. It's not anything terrible, but it's not like you could definitely live without it. And same goes with the other star power Buffy. I mean, you're not really going to be noticing too much difference with it. So you could definitely play easily Meg without her Buffy star power. So now moving on to the B tier, starting off with Meg's gadget Buffy. So Meg's gadget Buffy, I think with Toolbox, again, the rework is pretty good, but the actual Buffy itself, it leaves a damaging trail, and that I've found I've never really connected anything onto that. So yeah, I was under the impression at first that the gadget Buffy was maybe, I don't know, that you get your super back much quicker or something. So yeah, this Toolbox gadget Buffy is pretty useless. But the Jolting Volts, it's not anything crazy, but an additional 2 seconds. This is getting nerfed in the next set of balance changes though, so I might change my opinion a little bit about it. But just the rework itself is really nice, and then going from 5 seconds to 7 seconds is a big difference. You can get so much more healing and so much more value. So for that reason, I put it in the B tier. And lastly, for the B tier, we have Surge's star power Buffies. So again, I think a lot of people are under the impression when I talk about how strong brawlers are, and then I talk about nerfs, they think some brawlers are like, why are they nerfing the base kit? That's because a lot of these brawlers has received base kit changes and just changes and reworks to their star powers and kits. And Surge is one of them, because Serve Ice to Cold reworked is the big reason why Surge is very, very strong. And its meta spawning with your super is so much better than spawning at level 2. You might think, well, it's just basically the same. It's just not, because at least, anyways, we're talking about the Buffy. So with the Buffies aren't the greatest, because when you're at level 3 with Serve Ice Cold with the Buffy, it gives you an increased movement speed. It's not exactly anything crazy. To the max, yes, the Buffy is okay, because it allows you to split into 2 extra projectiles, which is pretty good. I think right now it's just been really overshadowed by the star power, so I think those Buffies are okay. So now we're going to be moving on to your A tier Buffies, starting off with Max's Gadget Buffy. So Max's Gadget Buffy, both of them are pretty impressive, and I definitely really like Max's Phase Shifter Buffy. I was actually maybe thinking of S tier as well. Didn't want to put too many in the S tier, but because you're allowed a second dash, I mean, Loki, probably that Gadget Buffy in particular is absolutely S tier. Very, very broken mechanic. And then you got Sneaky Sneakers as well, which is pretty good. You refill your ammo bar, you heal teammates around you. I kind of just like the fact that you can just use your gadget at any point in time. So again, that just rework has been really nice with Max Gadget overall. So yeah, it's on the cusp of S tier. So now moving on to Brock's Star Power Buffies, and the first one is he gets a 30% movement speed buff when using his more rocket star power, when using his super. So this is actually pretty good. It's not anything crazy, but I think with time it might be a little bit, I don't know whether I overrated it, but I just had the impression after playing it a few times it seems to just melt everyone. So yeah, I think it's pretty strong. But the big one that is very, very broken is rocket number 4. So again, I'm kind of anticipating the balance changes here, because right now it's 4 seconds you get an increased range attack, which is very, very strong. That's been nerfed to 6 seconds. So if we're thinking about what it is after the nerf, it's probably going to be around A tier. Probably just rocket number 4 Buffy alone is definitely S tier right now. So again, you've got to weigh into both of these things into the equation. So yes, it's a strong Buffy. Max's Star Power Buffy is next, and I really like both of these Star Power Buffies. So the first one is probably the better one, but in all honesty, it's probably because of the rework to it, and it just feels really nice. The extension and the fact that you get a shield for 4 seconds, you and your teammates, is a very, very strong Star Power Buffy. So even though it's A tier, could easily be S tier as well. Run and Gun as well, I thought would feel a little bit better. Maybe it's been overshadowed by the Supercharger Buffy, but getting a movement speed burst as well is very, very strong. So it's on the cusp of S tier as well. Such a strong Buffy. And then lastly in the A tier, I went with Meg's Hypercharge Buffy. So again, another one. Probably all of these could be deserving of S tier, honestly, but his Hypercharge Buffy is insane. I think the main reason why it's so strong is because all of these buffs, like combined with Meg, you're able just to cycle through your supers so effectively. The Hypercharge duration by 2 seconds as well allows you to chain that Hypercharge super more effectively. So I think all of these things considered makes such a strong brawler. Definitely one of the best Buffies in the game. So now moving on to your S tier Buffies, starting off with Brock's Hyper Buffies. So in all honesty, I haven't found as much value as maybe other people getting with this Hyper Buffy. Maybe I just suck with Brock. But I have found a value when you're close range. You can just shred through people. And I mean delete them, because this Hyper Buffy is insane. So if you guys didn't know, basically it's like Brock's attack turns into a Finks attack, and then the extra rocket still 60% less damage, but that's just more area coverage, it's more damage, it's more super cycling. It's pretty insane. Next one, S tier, went with Brock's Gadget Buffy. So I would say, quick disclaimer, I haven't tried it out myself, but I think the Buffy as well with Rocket Fuel adds a knockback as well. It doesn't say in the description anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong there. You'll have to correct me. But if that's right, then it's S tier. If I'm wrong, it's probably going to be the A tier, this Buffy. But anyways, Rocket Laces just being reworked as well is very, very strong. So again, you don't exactly need the Buffies necessarily, because still just breaking open the map with Rocket Fuel's good. Rocket Laces, get a double knockback is good as well. Getting an increased 2 second movement speed isn't anything crazy. So yeah, that one's probably on the weaker side. But Rocket Fuel splitting into 4 rockets is absolutely cracked. Especially because after you break open the wall and then these rockets fly out afterwards, it's such a broken mechanic. And again, if the knockback is as a result of the Buffy as well, it makes it even more broken. Next we have Surge's Gadget Buffies. So both of these are pretty strong. Power Surge is being incredibly overlooked because of how strong Power Shield is, but Power Surge, since the rework, is pretty strong, and the Buffy Power Surge gives a 30% reload speed increase as well. I think this could definitely have a good impact if Power Shield gets bigger nerfs, because you just can't overlook it at the minute. So you've guessed it, Power Shield is one of the most broken gadget buffies in the game right now, and it's because right now I think the cooldown is 18 seconds on Power Shield, but if you get hit by somebody because of this gadget buffy, your Power Shield cooldown goes to 9 seconds, which is just completely broken. So now moving over to Max's Hyper Buffy, and all of these things combined make Max such a strong brawler, but the Hyper Buffy itself, it definitely feels too strong. So you're granted 8%, well, her and nearby teammates, 8% supercharge whenever she hits anyone with her main attack. That just means supers galore, because if you add the additional hypercharge extension of 2 seconds, and then the hypercharge giving out supers as well, the hypercharge super, and then the hypercharge buffy, it's just too many supers. I've lost count by how broken this hypercharge buffy is. The next buffy in the S tier has to be 8-bit's hypercharge buffy. So this one, funny enough, isn't receiving a nerf, probably because just the base mechanic of it is very broken. It probably would require some type of client update, but it's very broken. It's as scary as it seems. So this hypercharge buffy is absolutely cracked. Like, you're just shooting unlimited ammo. It's very obviously it's going to be very strong. You're just able just to rip through everything. The hypercharge extension as well. I mean, don't even talk about it anymore. It's so strong. The next buffy that's in the S tier is 8-bit's gadget buffy. So wow, another buffy that's broken. Cheat cartridge heals himself, well, 8-bit and the actual turret itself by 100%. So I think in the sneak peeks that it healed both for 3,240, if I'm correct. So they actually buffed this. So already I thought it was going to be a strong gadget buffy, and then you 100% heal your turret. That's absolutely insane. You're just going to be cycling infinite supers, and then extra credits. Again, because of the rework, is probably one of the most broken gadgets in the game, because the bouncing is getting a nerf, guys, which will make it a little bit worse, but I still think it'll be strong. But that's not the reason why it's so broken, in my opinion. I think the reason why it's so broken is because you can throw out one main attack, and then you can click the gadget at the same time as well. Yes, it consumes the ammo, so make sure you have 2 pieces of ammo, but you're just able to rip through people so quickly. So yeah, the gadget buff is very, very strong as well. Just a reworked gadget is insane as well. But yeah, the gadget buff is definitely S tier. And lastly, for 8-bit's buffies, the star power buffy is insane as well. You couldn't split all 3 of his buffies, by the way. You can interchange any of them on the list, but this star power buffy is insane. So again, this one is received a nerf, but I still anticipate it being very, very strong. So right now, boosted booster, the one that gives you additional damage and increased turret range, it gives you every 3 seconds, it gives you a ammo clip. And that's just insane. 3 seconds is crazy. They're nerfing it to, I think, 5 or 6 seconds, but I still think it'll be a very, very strong mechanic to have. So yeah, that buffy is insane. And then plugged in gives a 15% speed boost to your teammates as well. So yeah, both of these buffies are really, really good. So now moving on to the best buffy probably in the game right now. Yes, it's receiving some types of nerf, but I still think after these nerfs, it'll be insane. So Surge's stage 5 hyper buffy is just absolutely cracked. So the hyper buffy itself increases the hypercharge by 2 seconds, and it gives Surge double the shots. The second shot does, I think, 60 or 80% of the damage that he does with his normal attack, which is okay. So kind of like Crow's hypercharge buffy, but it doesn't stop the fact that his reworked hyper super as well. It's just how like long in range the jump is, and then you jump onto them, and then the shots split, and then just the super cycling, you pair it with the power shield as well. So all of these things combined, I think, just makes the hypercharge of Surge completely broken. Like one of the most broken interactions I've ever seen in the game's history. Honestly, it's so strong. So that is going to be the tier list on the screen right here. Let me know whether you like this format a little bit differently. I tried to do the graphics a little bit more clearer for you guys, so let me know whether that worked. Anyways, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.